Hi there, I'm Kathleen Jasper with NavaEd, and today we're breaking down the SLLA 6990, Content Category 1, Strategic Leadership. Let's get started. All right, so strategic leadership is the first content category of your exam. It is all about those vision and goals. So here's how the presentation is going to go. You notice here that I have a piece of the study companion. This is how it's going to work. And then next to the study companion, I have a test question. I feel that this is the most effective way to teach people this content in context, right? In a real world setting. I can talk all day about mission and goals and all that, but if I don't reference a test question, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to apply it to the exam. But I also want you to think about being a leader in the schools as well. And this will help you become a better leader. Now, strategic leadership, you can see section A here, and this isn't the whole thing. We're just breaking pieces of the test apart. This has to do with mission, vision, goals, and core values of the school. And then you have these, and let's just zoom in a little bit. Then you have the test specs here. So you have understands how to develop an educational mission, understands how to analyze multiple sources of data, because how are you going to build a mission and a vision without looking at the data first? First. Selects appropriate school goals that are aligned. There are those words again. Evaluates the current mission and vision and sees if those goals are appropriate. Maybe it's a question about a new leader coming into the school and you have to fix the vision or mission or something like that. You got to look and see what's wrong with the old one or the current one. Then you have understands how to implement a vision and goals that reflect core values. And then look at this, with challenging and measurable expectations. Well, how do you measure expectations? You look at the data to see what happens. Now, the data could be qualitative data. It could be student surveys, teacher surveys, more of feelings type stuff. Or it could be quantitative data where you're looking at test scores and benchmark assessments. Or it should be a little bit of both, because both qualitative and quantitative give you an entire picture of what's going on and gives you a better chance to make good decisions. So those words, measurable, that should definitely be on the good words list. I forgot to add it there. Measurable. You got to be able to measure it. If you can't measure it, how are you going to know if you meet it? Okay. Here it is here, results driven, measurable. They're bound to time. I'm writing a study guide for this particular test, and I have a whole section on SMART goals. And that's what you want to think about when you're talking about building these goals. They should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. I have more videos on that. Don't worry. We're not going to spend, if you don't know that situation, you should be learning about that in your leadership, but that's like the way to kind of look at a goal and determine if it's an effective goal or not. Okay. So let's just take a look at the test question here. Now, I always say this, and those of you who have attended my webinars before, you never start at the top of this test question. The test questions on the SLLA and the FELI are very lengthy. They'll have, like a big narrative here, and then they might even have a chart of data in between, and then another piece of the question, and it becomes like a hot mess. You start at the top here and work your way down. You are not setting yourself up for success because you're going to forget everything that's going on. Start down here in the answer choices and start to find those good words and eliminate bad words. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's take a look. Let me erase some of this stuff just so we have it. All right, let's look at A. Survey students and parents, develop a plan for implementation, outline communication. All right, I like develop a plan for implementation, surveying students and parents. Not the worst thing in the world. Let's keep moving. Evaluate the data. Oh, there's a good word. Determine the areas of need. Ooh, needs assessment. Good word. Plan to progress monitor and develop assessments. Those have all the good words in them. I'm going to put B as my main one here. Let's go to C. Research effective mathematics approaches. Choose the most appropriate and implement the practice. Not as good as B. D. Participate in professional development, implement best practices, and survey students. Sounds good, but it's not as good as B with the data and all those good words. Now, here's what happens when you start at the top. You start up here and you read, and then you read these answer choices, and all the answer choices then look good to you because these are all things you would do as an assistant principal or as a new leader, right? But there's one that is the most effective. And you can see here, what would be the best approach? They'll say that the best approach, the most effective. Sometimes they'll say, what should be the first thing a leader does? Pay attention. It's not just what could a leader do, it's what is the best or the most effective approach. And in this case, B, I don't care what the question says, B is for sure the most effective thing to do. And you will find this a lot on the SLLA, that you can go straight to the answer choices. And this one, I narrowed it down to 1. Sometimes you narrow it down to 2. Now read the question. An assistant principal at a team and a team of teachers are working on mathematic goals. So right away, we know this aligns with mission and vision. It's not a school goal, but it is a mathematics goal for the department. So it's still very important, very specific. What would be the best approach the team can make? Well, if you're developing goals, you need to evaluate data. Where are the deficits? Where do we need resources? Where do we need attention? Then you disaggregate the data, which we'll talk more about in a minute. If you don't know what that word means, don't worry. You disaggregate the data, you go down deep in the data, you determine the specific areas of needs, and then you target those areas, you align your goals, and you figure out how you're going to measure to make sure you've met those goals. And B's got all of that in it. So make sure that you can identify those good words and make sure you can transfer your knowledge. Notice that the things that I said aren't necessarily verbatim in answer B, but it is the same idea. So you're going to have to transfer your knowledge as an educational leader and be sure that you can use that on test day. Don't look for exact test questions and exact words. It's not going to work out for you. You got to be able to use all, that critical thinking and discern that. All right, so here's another one for strategic leadership. This is section B, and this is commitments to implementing. And again, let's just take a look at the words that are in this particular test spec. Understands how to engage staff. Ooh, that can be tough, especially when you're maybe in a high school where staff is not used to working together. They're used to, I teach math, I teach social studies, I teach science kind of deal. Although most of the high school teachers I worked with were really open to all kinds of collaborative work. They just needed guidance for the most part, and they took it to a whole nother level. We want to identify strategies to engage internal and external communities. So that means your teachers are internal, right? And external is going to be outside, parents, community members, things like that, to implement the vision. Remember, the vision is not just about the school. The school should be a beacon of hope for the community, no pressure. Right? So you really should be talking to the community about visions and goals and things like that. And then right here is important. This building consensus develops a plan to delegate responsibilities. It's not just about building consensus, like I have this goal I want to implement at my school. That's not how it works. It's more about building camaraderie and collaborative planning with everybody to build consensus so it's everybody's school, so that I care if there's a piece of trash in the parking lot, I'm going to pick it up because it's my school, it's my vision, it's my goal. That's what we're trying to do. And you also do that by delegating responsibilities. If you're a leader and you're like me, you're probably like, let me just do it. Let me do it. Just give it to me. And that's not the most effective way to do things. You've got to delegate responsibilities effectively to people. So that brings me to this question here. Kind of helps with all sections of this particular specification, section B, shared commitments. All right, so let's just see here. Cite research that supports the adoption of new vision and goals. Well, I cite the research, it's okay, but let's keep going. Form a committee of stakeholders to help develop the new vision and goals. Well, there's that commitment to collaboration, to engaging inside and outside communities. So B looks good to me. Let's go with C. Enlist the support of an outside contractor. That's considered a bad word. Let's go ahead and cross that off. If you see anything about hiring outside contractors, it's usually not the answer. Now, I am an outside contractor. I get hired by people to come in and do leadership webinars and teacher certification courses and all that. So I think outside contractors can provide value, especially if they're qualified. However, on this test, you really want to keep it inside the school and engage the community. And I will say that teachers and leaders are skeptical of outside contractors for the most part. When I go into a university to train their professors on how to teach teacher certification exams, they're not happy to see me for the most part. But then we build a relationship and then it becomes a great day. But for the most part, they want to keep it in their hands. So, outside contractors do provide value, but in this case, want to keep it in the school.
And then D, require a group of teacher leaders to draft new goals. This is wrong for two reasons. The word require is kind of a negative word, and you want to stay away from negative words on this test, unless it's like something about a law or a policy, right? If it's required by law, then you would use the term require. But when we're trying to build consensus and work collaboratively with people, requiring this or requiring that tends to be a bad word. Even though using teacher leaders is a way to build, leadership in the building, having them just draft new goals certainly doesn't build consensus and doesn't bring in or engage the internal and external community. So D would be out. C's got that bad word, outside contractor. A and B are okay, but B is better. Let's go with the question. Let's look at it. A new principal is revising the school's vision and goals. What should the principal do to ensure buy-in? Well, right away, the term buy-in, that means consensus, right? So we're going to make sure that we choose B. Very good, everyone. Notice that you find the good words and you can answer these questions.
We have a lot of awesome information about the SLLA 6990, so be sure you check out our leadership playlist before you go. I also wanted to let you know that we have a 3-part SLLA 6990 webinar series. The series is extremely comprehensive and very detailed for each section of the exam. If you'd like more information about our 3-part webinar series, simply go to navaed.com, go to the top navigation and click School Leadership, and then under that, you will see the option to click School Leaders Licensure Assessment. When you do, you will see me there welcoming you to the page, and then below that are the details of the 3-part series. You'll notice that part 1, we will talk about portions 1 through 3 of the exam. In part 2 of the webinar series, we'll go through portions 4 through 6 of the exam. And then finally, the 3rd part of our webinar series for SLLA 6990, we will go through the constructed response. All 3 portions are very comprehensive and detailed and come with a ton of resources. So if you're interested, go ahead and navigate to that page. Don't forget to use offer code SLLA20 for 20% off your purchase. We really appreciate you using our resources and products. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram @NavaEdFL. Have a great day.